about how to drive a car the first time. I think it's really important that you're patient when you first get out on the road because you will be very overwhelmed. There are a lot of things going on, there are a lot of issues going on. So, what you need to do is just take your time and really enjoy what you do. It's a learning process. And when you take the time to learn the right way, you will definitely improve. It's all about improvement. You've seen a lot of my content where I'm always talking about improving and getting better. I'm a true believer in that because you got to be patient with yourself. You won't be able to drive to a downtown area and heavy duty traffic yet. You should really be starting in neighborhoods, making right and left turns, maybe 4 right turns, 4 left turns, really making sure you have consistent control of the car. Because if you can't steer your car, you won't be able to get on the road comfortably and drive because a lot of people, when you first learn how to drive, are expecting you to make nice crispy right turns, nice crispy left turns, and then when you struggle, they're going to say, what's wrong with this person, right? When you're in the driver's seat car, you have a sticker on the car, you have a big yellow sign on the top that says driver's ed student, but when you don't have that, the expectation is you're going to be driving at the speed limit. You're going to be making appropriate left turns by the double yellow. You're going to be making right turns in the nearest lane. You should always keep your turns as short as possible. Beginning drivers tend to make really wide turns. And if you make wide turns, you're going to go in the wrong lane. And when someone is making a left turn, they're going to end up hitting you. And then you're going to be blamed for it because you're going to get cited for an improper turn. We don't want that to happen to you. So you need to start really opening yourself up to learning what to do and how to do it, right? Next, I also want to see that you are making consistent turns. Turns with proper speed. A lot of beginning drivers tend to go into the turn too fast, and that's going to cause you to either slam the brake or go overturn. You overturn, and then you have to overturn. It's like you make a really wide turn, and you're going to have to whip the wheel back to keep from hitting the curb. I've been in a lot of those situations before, so I simply tell my students, you need to slow down before you go into your turn because centrifugal force will pull you to the outside. Next, you want to have someone who doesn't yell at you. I'm a state certified driving instructor, and you need to be subscribing to the channel because I'm going to give you the right perspective. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to ask you your questions. So when you subscribe, you're going to get that value. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up right now. So you don't want someone to yell at you. And when I teach students, I don't yell at them. I'm very consistent. I tell dad jokes. I make them laugh because with laughter, you're going to be comfortable, right? And then I'm able to teach them. It's really a consistent process of growing up because when we drive, we're not driving kids, right? You are preparing for adulthood. And then at the end of every drive, I'm going to talk to your parent. I'm going to talk to your guardian. I'm going to talk to your caregiver, and I'm going to give them feedback and instructions on what you need to work on. Good teachers take the time to do that. And your instructor should be explaining to you what you did right, what you did wrong, and how you can get better. You want to give students, your son or daughter, directions in advance. The worst thing you can do is tell the beginning driver, okay, turn here. And then they don't have time to slow down. They don't have time to use a blinker. They might jerk the wheel. So you always have to assume that the beginning driver does not know what to do. I can't assume anything. And on that first lesson, we're in neighborhoods. We're making right turns. We're making left turns. We're practicing pulling up to the curb. We're practicing going up to an uncontrolled intersection, and that's the intersection without lights or signs. That's going to be in your test. We go to partially controlled intersections. That's with one sign or one light. And then we go to fully controlled intersections. That's an intersection with all signs and all lights. I try to help them distinguish that because that's going to be on their knowledge test. Every time we drive, in my mind, I'm preparing for when you're 16. I'm preparing for when you're 16 and you have 50 hours. You're going to be taking your road test. So I'm preparing you for this process of a road tester sitting next to you who doesn't know you from anyone. And they're going to sit there with the clipboard. They're going to tell you, go right, go left, go on the expressway, go in this neighborhood, perform this maneuver, They won't give you any feedback or support because that's not their job. I'm at that level 1, level 2, where I'm your instructor, I'm your cheerleader. You can do it. Get it. And then I high five you when you make a good turn. If you struggle, I show you how to get better. But also, I have good friends who are road testers, and I can always rely on them to give feedback and support to prepare you for that next level. That's another reason for you to subscribe. And that's another reason for you to give this a thumbs up. Next, you want to make positive conversations with students because that makes them feel like you care. And you want to get a chance to know their name. I have 20 students. I know all of their names. I call them by their first name, and that builds a positive relationship because people want to know that you care. You show them that you care through calling them by their name. You talk to their parents. You help them in class. We do a Kahoot. We do a Quizlet. I'm always rewarding the winner. Takis, pizza, ice cream, because when you do those things, it shows the students that you really care. And I do care. Next, you want to give positive reinforcement. It's really hard for someone to be driving and someone is always like on them, right? So you want to be positive and look at some of the things they need to work on. You did a great job pulling in a driveway, but you have to cover your brake. You did a nice job backing up, but you didn't look out your back window. You did a nice job stopping, but you slammed the brakes. So you have to give them constructive criticism with love. Love. People need love and support. I need love and support. And it's okay to ask for help. If I feel a student is not fully developed by the end of their driving lessons, I can give them a couple more. And that's a personal choice. I talk to the parent, I talk to the caregiver, I talk to the student. We're examining their driving log to see what they need to work on to get better. And that's vital because I really do care about my students and I want them to do a good job. Good instructors will help you identify your mistakes. Where a parent will say, "Oh my God, you're going too fast, slow down." Where I will tell turn. Those things are super important where you're squeezing the brake and accelerating through the turn. You have to be consistent because I look for fundamentally sound drivers. Do you have good speed control? If the speed limit is 50, you should be going 50. If the speed limit is 70, you should be going 70. If you're in a neighborhood and it's 25, you should be going about 25. A lot of getting drivers drive 10 under the limit, 7 under the limit. And what happens is this triggers a lot of road rage. Are you listening to me? This triggers a lot of road rage. And when you have road rage, you're not going to really understand, why are people tailgating me? Why are people really trying to run me off the road? You don't mean to do it, but as a result, that's what happens. And you have to really explain this. You have to look at the whole student, the whole driver's ed student, right? You need to have literally like an out-of-body experience going up to heaven, right? You need to give student feedback. I try to look at it from a third-person perspective. I tell you how to get better. I tell you what to improve on, and then I relax. Then I let you make those improvements. I applaud you. I give you a high five. Then you make those necessary improvements because all of us love positive praise. I love positive praise. Hey, you did a great job with the class. You did a great job parallel parking. You did a great job merging on the expressway. We all love positive praise, but also you want to give them some things to work on. You always want to elevate. Either you elevate or terminate. And I want you to get better. Look at my content. Subscribe to the channel because I've taught people in their 30s, people in their 40s, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Look at the content, subscribe, because I'm very passionate. I drove this week about 80 hours. I'm off tomorrow. I'm still going to go live. So when I'm done driving, I go live to talk to you a few minutes. We had some night driving tonight. That was really good. Had good speed control. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. We went on the expressway. We were in an urban area making lane changes, doing some parking. So your instructor will develop a custom learning driver's ed portfolio for you. That's what I do. Every student is different. Some need more residential, right? Thank you. That means a lot. I'll be, working and setting up my schedule because in August I'll have 20 new students, right? And I want to continue to get better and continue to grow. I can't do what I did this month. In August, I need to elevate. How can I improve being a better instructor? Do we need to work on more steering? Do we need to work on merging on expressway more? Do we need to work on more residential driving? Do we need to work on proper hand to hand, hand over hand? Everyone is a little bit different. And those differences are truly blessed. You learn how to drive from your instructor, me. You learn how to drive from your mom and dad. You learn how to drive from your friends, from your family. And you will develop what you need within about 2 years, 3 years. You'll learn how to turn the wheel. You'll learn how to get better. I'm here to help you. And it's okay that you need work. You need to subscribe. You need to give it a thumbs up because I'm going to give you a perspective every time I go live. Your instructors really do care about you, and they really want you to grow as a driver, as a young man, as a young lady. To gain independence, driving means different things to different people. Some people want to obtain their license after maybe a huge accident and they have a lot of anxiety. Some drivers want to obtain their permanent license just to go back and forth to work. Some drivers want to obtain their license to get over a emotional situation. Everyone is a little bit different. So I try to have those conversations and talk to my students, and I'll share those conversations with you because I want you to feel connected to me when I talk. I want you to feel like, man, he's live. I need to go see this guy. I want you to feel like that because it's extremely important that you understand the goal. The goal is getting better. The goal is growing. The goal is to get over anxiety. Anxiety could be driving at night. Whenever I drive my drivers at night, they're overwhelmed. It's hard to see. The headlights are not clean. The windshield is dirty. Plus, you have anxiety from your whole day. So I will be driving. And then, of course, when the fall comes, it gets dark at like 5:30. We're in the summer right now, and it doesn't get dark to about 9:30. But still, that is a challenge for all of us. Driving in the morning, you have blazing sunlight in your eyes, blinding your retinas. You're blind, can't see. You have to deal with trucks on the expressway, cars merging out in front of you. So I try to get my students in the middle lane so they can be consistent, so they can be successful. You don't want to set up your students for failure. Failure could be putting them in the right lane, cars are merging on, cutting them off. They have anxiety. Failure could be throwing a young man, a young lady out on the road when they have no business being there. That's setting yourself up for failure. You need to start in the neighborhoods. You need to work on turning the steering wheel properly, whether it's hand over hand, hand to hand, 9 and 3, 10 and 2, 7 and 5. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Why? We're all different. There's no set way to turn the steering wheel. Okay, here in the United States, it's primarily hand over hand, right? In the UK, in Australia, they do hand to hand. And plus they drive manuals. In the United States, 90% of our cars are automatic. I know how to drive a manual. There's no problem with it, but you drive what is provided for you, and you have to learn how to drive it, and you have to learn how to take care of it, okay? So have that positive person with you in the car. Have someone with you who will support you, but be honest with you. You know, you don't want to lie to yourself or lie to your students. I always am honest with my students. You had a great drive, but you ran 3 lights. You need to improve on you recognizing intersections because remember, I'm preparing you for your road test. If you run a light, automatic failure. If you strike a curb, automatic failure. If you don't look over your shoulder and create a dangerous maneuver and the instructor has to turn the wheel, automatic failure. So I want to prepare you and build that confidence. But it's up to your caregivers. If your mom and dad don't take you out, oh, I'm scared. You're going to sit at home for 3 months. You're going to forget everything that I taught you. And you're going to have to start over. So when you're done, you need to get that permit immediately and start driving. But the problem is your mom and dad, your mom has a car, your dad has a car, or maybe one car, and like, They're saying, I'm not going to let you drive my car. You can't drive. And then you're stuck. And then 3 months from now, you're 17 or 19 or 20, you really haven't driven. So it's almost like starting over. So that's kind of scary. I know 4 or 5 people who are 23, 24, 25 who don't have a license. This is after COVID. Everyone had the COVID afro, the COVID beard, right? Everything's shut down. But now things are open back up, and there's a shortage of instructors. I'm in high demand, and I know my limit, 20 to 25 students. That's a good number for me. It's not about money anymore. I'm not a money chaser anymore. It's about proper mental health. It's about providing a high quality service to your students. This is why I'm smiling all the time. I work hard. Don't get it twisted. I love working hard. And when I go home, I'll edit my videos. I'll put some out there. And you need to be subscribing to the channel. If you're subscribed, give us a thumbs up. If you're subscribed, leave it in the comments. Subscribe because you want to get that information first. And I want to continue working hard for you. So work on your steering. Work on your parking. Have good speed control in the neighborhoods. Lane positioning is really important. If you're hugging the right, you're going to go off into the ditch. If you're hugging the left, you're going to sideswipe a car. Your instructor should not be screaming at you. Thank you. That means a lot. That really, really does. Because I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to bring you value. And I want to give you insight on what a driver and instructor thinks. It's a very fulfilling day. You think about your whole day. How did I help my students? What can I improve on? Was I too quiet? Did I not talk enough? Did I not really do my best job? So I always want to look at myself first when I teach to get better. And that's what it's all about, getting better. And the next time I have students in the car, I try different routes. What is my route? It's like a 5-mile loop, 7-mile loop. We have 12 right turns, 12 left turns. We make some lane changing, right? We do some parking at a high school. We go to the mall, not to go shopping. We go to the mall to do angle parking spots. We go on the loop around the mall, right? We go to community colleges. They have a loop around there. They have a mixture of stop signs, yield signs, right? So route selection is very important because you want to mix up. And if you're driving straight, you're not really going to learn. And I try to mix up all the time. I try never to go the same place twice. And I try to encourage, we go to a downtown area. Why? You're going to have people walking across the street. You're going to have people drinking it up at bars. You're going to have little kids walking out. So I try to teach my drivers to be a defensive driver, but a smart driver, but also a realist, because people will come out and walk in front of you and they'll walk out in front of you and the light's in your favor. So you have to really, really careful. Downtown areas are very good for parallel parking. We do 7 to 10 parallel parking maneuvers. We practice pulling in driveways, 3-point turns. So there's a lot involved. And once I see my students master those things, then I'm saying they're ready. When I see my student is able to make a nice lane change with traffic behind you, mirror, turn signal, blind spot, and you do the maneuver, you're ready. When I see you merge on that freeway and you need very little assistance, you're accelerating on that ramp, 35, 45, 55. You come out about 60, mirror, turn signal, blind spot, you're in that first lane. I'm like, yeah, baby, my students got it. And then when I see you consistently control your car at intersections, a lot of beginners stare at the speedometer. I'm looking down the speedometer right now. You're not looking at the road. If I see you aggressively tailgating, I'm going to tell you back off a little bit. I hope this helped you guys. Subscribe. I care about you. I appreciate you. I will be going live tomorrow, probably in the morning around 12, maybe 3 or 6. I want to say thank you. Look at my content. Subscribe. Bye, guys.